7, 8. Then, if you're comfortable with that, do 4. Hello, this is John with My First Ukulele, and today's topic is muting for beginners. And when we mean muting, we mean the fretting hand muting, not necessarily the right hand this time. So I'm going to show you some tips on that today. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to play something for you at first, and I want you to see if you can hear anything. Okay, so I have this is a G chord. Normally I play this, right? But sometimes if I have a G sharp chord, if I go up a half step, I want to be able to do that. But if I accidentally touch this top string, it's going to sound kind of bad, right? Like, ooh, maybe I didn't mean to do that. So muting might mean that I take this finger right here and I just touch that string lightly. Now I'm playing all the strings, but I have a clean sound. I'm not getting that little like G natural with it as well. So, and you may notice I'm also wearing kind of gloves right now. We've had some really cold weather here this week. In the States, it's been like 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and this also actually helps, I think, for you to see where my fingers are in relation. They just kind of stick out a little bit more. So yes, I do know I'm wearing gloves as I'm playing. And that's a topic for another day. There are people that wear gloves when they play stringed instruments. So just something interesting to think about and discuss. But on with the video. So muting can really help you get a polished sound, like a little bit more clear or polished sound. It can also be used for different rhythms, playing different rhythms on the ukulele rather than making the chords bleed over. So if you're playing this chord, and you might go to it C and F. Now those sound pretty good together, but maybe if I went from C to A, right, there's gonna definitely be some bleed over between those two chords. So you might go like, and so very slightly, I'd touch that with my left hand to get that to be cleared out before I had my next chord. I did C and A major there. Basically, muting is stopping the strings with the fretting hand. You could also use your right hand, but it almost becomes like a rhythm when you do that. So the left hand is definitely a little bit faster at doing muting. All right, so I'm going to show you a how-to. The very first way that we're going to do it is we're going to lift the fingers off, and then that's just going to automatically mute it. So I squeeze the chord. In this case, I'm doing a G chord, and I am just finger picking these notes right now. So I'm using my thumb and my pointer finger in my middle, and then when I let go, it's going to stop ringing. And all I'm doing here is just relaxing the fingers. I also happen to have my thumb, the top of my thumb, touching the G string as well between chords. So that's going to help prevent any ringing with that hand going there. All right, so that's kind of the first way. I would say if you do this method, you should definitely learn some bar chords. I'll give you an example. So if I were to do a lift pressure, which is a C chord, I'm going to have bleed over, all right? But if I do a different C shape, if I do a barred C shape, and from the ceiling to the floor, that's going to be fret 5, 4, 3, 3. If I do that with this, all I have to do is squeeze and then relax, and it covers all of the strings, okay? So that's an example of the lifting pressure in the fingers without really lifting your fingers off. You're just relaxing, right? And then let's go ahead and go over the second method, which is going to be touching extra strings lightly. So here's an example. I'm on the G chord. Now, if I don't want the high G string to ring when I'm playing, then I can just take my pointer finger a little bit higher when I'm making a G chord, like a barred version of a G chord, which is from the ceiling to the floor 0, 2, 3, 2. But I'm taking my pointer finger across all of fret 2, and my middle finger's on fret 3. And so I can do that, or I can take my finger to the top and just lightly touch it. And I'm touching that low G string, but nothing's coming out. So I'm not getting 2 Gs when I do this. I'm only getting the 1. See, I'm plucking the G, nothing's happening. Right? But if I let go of it, if I pull it down, you're going to hear both, right? And so that's the second method there, is using pointer finger or other fingers to dampen some other strings. For instance, I could also do this if I make an A shape. So from the ceiling to the floor, 2, 1, 0, 0. I could use these other two fingers, and I'm getting a 2 notes at once, right? And you could do that again, and I can just use my pinky finger. Now I've got 3 strings ringing out, so I actually have a chord now. And then if I let go of my pinky, you'll hear all the parts, right? So it's a very subtle thing that you can do when you're muting chords, or you're trying to highlight certain notes that you're playing. Then the third way to do muting is with rhythmic stops. And I'm going to show you a C chord and what I'm going to do here. This definitely takes some practice. Definitely playing rhythmically doing this. So I'm making a C chord. I've got my ring finger on the C string. And then I'm going to be using my pinky to touch after I play. And I'm going to just start with down strums first, as we have this, right? So I'm just dampening right after, and this is just with my pinky. And then you can get pretty tricky with this. You could do like, right? I can do it with the F chord. Let's see, so. Definitely take some practice, especially if you're going to be switching chords. But it's a really fun little exercise to do. So let's go ahead and do one of the practice exercises, and let's go ahead and find that G chord again. And I was going to do the C, but you may not be at a point in your playing where you're used to doing a B flat shaped chord. So if you are, this would be a good exercise to do on on this higher C shape that we have. But go on ahead and do a G chord, okay? And I've got 0-2-3-2 there, and I'm just lightly touching this upper G here, because we're only wanting to play the strings that are being touched by fingers, okay, to do this press release, okay? So the exercise that we're going to do first is going to be, we're going to do 8 strums, and then we're going to do 8 relaxed notes. You're going to hear that it changes, right? So here's 8, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Then if you're comfortable with that, do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, relax. Do it again, 4, and relax. And then you can go to 2, right? You can go 1, 2, 1, 2. And then you can do it with other chords. Etc. So that's a really good way to do that. And then with the exercise 2, we can change chords and mute between each shape. So let's go ahead and do 3 C's, and then I want you to mute on the 4th, and then we'll do 3 F's, and we'll mute on the 4th. And you go back and forth. So here we go. So here's the F. 4. Just using that left hand to get in there and cancel out that last chord that we have. And the exercise 3 is going to be down, down, mute, down. Okay? Let's start on the A major chord. 1, 2, here we go. There we go. So that's just an example of the 3 dampening techniques that we have right there. So now we're going to do this within a context of a song. And the progression we're going to do is going to be C, A minor, F, and G. Okay. Now the very first time I want to do this in, I don't want to say messy style, but just in a not as clean style. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do 4 strums on each chord. We'll just play it as normal. 2, ready, go. try to do it as cleanly as I could, but there's definitely some ring out, especially the A, like C to A minor and then A minor to F. You definitely have some strings that are ringing out, as we have. Now, some of those notes do actually belong in the next chord, so, but that's the messy version. And then let's do a cleaner, muted version, and we're going to mute on beat 4 between all of them. 1, 2, here we go. That's an example of a little bit of muting between each chord. Well, thank you for paying attention and improving on your ukulele technique. I encourage you to check out your chord library, sign up for the free beginner course on the My First Ukulele website, and then also join the newly created Facebook group. You can get some support, and we can also just get some feedback from you and how you like My First Ukulele. I've been John, and happy strumming, everybody. Bye-bye.